Anyone? It was a standard question of Pascal's triangle. Just a second, okay. Yes, so किसी ने सॉल्व किया पास्कल्स ट्रायंगल कल जो छोड़ा था? Yes, तेजस और one more students were there.
Yes, sir.
Done. क्या लॉजिक यूज किया आपने? Okay, let me try to explain. उसका एक स्टैंडर्ड सॉल्यूशन है, so we can create our own logic. There are two ways to solve that problem. One is using factorial and second is some mathematical calculations.
Recording in progress. Yes, now who was saying?
Can you go to the previous page?
1, 2,
Ma'am, that should be only
1,
if you write it down in between
6,
the two
4,
words, then you
1.
exponential.
This was the pattern, right?
So you
Okay.
minus it.
So let's start
Somewhere.
tracing it. For I is representing row. Yes, हमने देखा था out of all loop is for I. So I is representing row. If I starts from 0, that is for first row, 1 for second row, 2 for third row. Yes, and so on. For I equal to 0, J will go from J will go from, yes, 0 to I. That is for I equal to 0. J will go from, yes, 0 to 0. Yes, for I equal to 0. And for I equal to 1, J will go from 0 to 1. Yes, for I equal to 2, J will go from 0 to 2. That is 0 to 1 and then 2. Yes, for I equal to 3, J will go from, yes, 0 to 3. Okay, now trace करते हैं. What logic I have found that factorial of I divided by factorial of j into factorial of I minus j. See, I have already written program or a function to find the factorial, जो हमने पहले भी देखा था functions के time पे. Yes, so it will calculate the factorial of a number and return the factorial. So yeah, basically I'm using the standard solution of Pascal's triangle. So let's trace the question. For I equal to 0, j is going from 0 to 0. Yes, so it is formula is fact of, yes, what is the formula here? Formula याद रखना है for exam point of view, because it's a standard problem. We can't create our, or if create भी करेंगे तो it will take, yes, more than 1 hour. So don't go to create a logic for this standard problem. Yes, fact of I upon, yes, fact of I upon fact of j into fact of I minus j. Yes, just remember this formula. You know how to create a function to calculate factorial. You can easily write a function, a main function. Yes, and you just call the function to calculate. Don't write the code to calculate factorial here. Okay, so just use the function call fact of I. Okay, so for I equal to 0, fact of 0 is 1, we know. Yes, fact of j is also 0. So fact of 0 is 1. So 1 upon, yes, 1 upon 1 into 1 is 1. So I achieved this element. Yes. ये 1 1 भी same ही होगा. See, I is 1, j will go from 0 to 1. Here I is 2, j will go from 0 to 2. Okay, let's trace for this element. For this element, I is 2. Yes, j is, what is j? It's 1, right? Yes,
Yes, 1.
so fact of 2, that is 2, upon fact of 1, that is 1, into fact of 2 minus 1, that is 1. So element is 2. Yes, for this element, I is 3, j is 1.
1.
Yes, you are getting it. For this element, what is I?
4.
I is 4, j is
2.
calculated. That's it. Fact of that is 4. Yes. Upon fact of j, that is 2, into, yes, I minus the fact of 3, that is 6. Yes. So I hope it's clear. If you want to copy the code, you can. Shall I wait? If you are copying, I will wait. Or otherwise, we'll move forward. अच्छा, और कोई पैटर्न में डाउट है तो you can ask right now. बेसिक लॉजिक वही है. यहाँ पे भी देखो, वी रॉट लॉजिक फॉर स्पेस. हम लोग कल कर रहे थे n minus i, if जो भी प्रेजेंट था, जो भी जिसको भी याद है, we were writing a logic n minus i. yes, पर वहां पे हम लोग इंडेक्स i इक्वल टू 1 से स्टार्ट कर रहे थे. यहाँ पे हम लोग if we are starting with 0, it is n minus. Yes, for the first case, for I equal to 0, see, for I equal to 0, that is for first element, how many elements ahead? For I equal to 0, yes, 1 2 3 4 spaces are there. Yes, so यहाँ पे if n is 5, see, total number of row in Pascal's triangles I want is 5. Yes, so it is 5 minus 0 minus 2, that is 3. So see, j will go from 0 to 3, that is loop will run 4 times, that is 4 space. Yes, that is nothing but n minus i. कल के लॉजिक में I use formula. Yes, you can. As I said, there are two logics for Pascal's triangle. I prefer this factorial ka logic because it's simple and easy to understand. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Done. Okay. कोई any doubt anyone in pattern? कोई भी pattern? Okay, so we'll go for OOPS का concept जो बाकी था हमारा. Yes, आपका first is friend function is remaining. Okay, so before going to friend function, let me give an example of why we are how. Okay, why we call it as friend function and what exactly it is. So friend function and friend class is also there in your syllabus. Yeah. So friend function and friend class is basically yes, originated from the concept called composition. Both of them are part of composition. Composition means declaring one class object into another class object. Okay. So suppose let me give an example. Suppose मेरा phone है. Yes, तो मेरे phone को मैं access कर सकता हूँ without permission. मेरे family members access कर सकते हैं. For nowadays it's not the case, but पहले assume करो. Okay, तो मेरे phone को मेरे family members access कर सकते हैं. Yes, उनको password पता होगा. मैं access कर सकता हूँ. And मेरा कोई close friend है, best friend है, वो access कर सकता है. Yes. So this is nothing but friend function. मेरा friend is not my family member. Assume that my family members are nothing but a class members. Yes, member functions, or let's say, yeah. So if I have a class, yes, phone or me, let's say. An example में जो लिखा है वही लेते हैं. Me. If my see, जैसे मैंने बोला मैंने फोन में पासवर्ड रखा होगा तो my phone is kind of private data member. Yes, for me it's private. So private variables can then let me take string 4. Now my family members, let's say mom का एक function है. Yes, if mom want to access the phone, she can access. Yes, हमने देखा था कि if data member is private, it can be only accessed using member functions. ये देखा था हमने. Yes, if dad को access करना है, brother को access करना है, they can access because they are members. They are members. Yes, similarly, member functions can access my private data directly without my permission. Okay, permission. और अभी suppose मेरा एक friend है, कोई एक friend है, best friend है, तो he or she can access my phone without my permission. This is what the basic concept of friend function. See, my friend is not a member of my class. My friend is not a member of my family, but still he is able to access my phone. Yeah, हमने पहले बोला था कि if my data member is private, it cannot be accessed outside the class. Yes, outside the class it cannot be accessed, but here it is not the case. We are breaking the rule. Yes, a friend is not a class member, but it can access my phone, which is private. इतना समझा सबको? Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we'll jump to on the example. यहाँ पे देखो, जैसे it's me, my class, my phone is a private data member. Yes, my family can access my phone. Yes, they can access my phone. Family members can access my phone without object name. Okay, directly they can access. A friend function, okay, कोई एक friend है तो उसे declare करना पड़ता है using this friend keyword. Yeah, तो if I want कि मेरा friend मेरा phone access कर सके without my permission, okay, तो I will use friend keyword and I will declare that function inside my class. Yes, and yes, one more thing, I will pass argument. Yes, and which is an object of my class. Okay, friend function क्या लिखा है? Friend function should be declared inside class using friend keyword. उसका definition कहीं पे भी होने दो. Will come. इसके बाद हम लोग friend class में जाएंगे. There, since here my friend function का definition is global. It's not inside any class, right? It's global. It's in also it's outside the main function. Yeah. So my friend function ka definition is global. So there are two ways to define friend function. One is global and second is inside a class. If you are doing it inside a class, you are writing the definition of friend function inside a class, then the class is friend class. इसके बाद हम लोग friend class के example में जाएंगे वहाँ पे. Okay, but for right now in this case, my friend function is declared globally. Okay, see here I'm passing object of type me. Yes, but जैसे मैंने बोला कि my family members can access my phone without a object name. Yes, but my friend could able to access my phone using object name. Yeah, here I'm creating object me. This object one is of is my object. Yes, family function just call कर रहा हूँ. Yes, it will print that family members can access my phone, and this is access. Yeah, one more thing, while calling this access function, you are, since we are not using any object to call this access function. Yeah, and one more thing, that is actual argument जो pass कर रहे हैं, we will be passing this object of me. Okay, I hope you understand. Let's run the code. Yes, my friend can access my phone without my permission. Any doubt, anyone? Okay, again, sir, how to exchange the private values of two classes by using friend function? Okay, we can achieve using friend class, no?
Yes.
Friend class. इसके बाद में हम लोग friend class के example में जाएंगे, वहां पे देख आपको clear हो जाएगा doubt को. Friend function में किसी को doubt है? So again, I'll say कि just take a standard example. Example यही example लो exam में and just explain using this example. अच्छा, you might have a doubt. किसी को doubt नहीं आया, but मुझे तो आता है कि so we are doing what we were doing in inheritance. We are doing the same thing, right? So what is the difference between inheritance and this composition? That is using a friend function. Can anyone tell me? See, composition मैंने क्या बोला? We are declaring a object. Yes. कहाँ पे है? Yes. We are declaring, yes, object of one class into another class. Okay, इसके बाद में class friend class पे जाएंगे तभी in detail we'll study that. What's the next? Next is friend class. Okay, so I'm moving ahead. Friend. जैसे मैंने बोला, in previous case our friend function was defined globally. Right now a friend function is inside some class which is a friend class. So friend class का is, yes, I am just declaring, yes, it's a my friend का एक class है. Yes, and this is my friend, actual my friend का class. Yes, uska भी कुछ is private. Now
Do we need to do the conjugate multiplication?
this is private data members of
Since it is normalized.
my class. Yes. Let's, okay, this is object 1 जिसका type है me. Object 2 is मेरा friend का object. Yeah. See, calling friend function using object of friend. See, यहाँ पे object 2 is my friend का object. Yes. Yes. And this my friend is my friend class, and this the function defined inside is able to access, since it is accessing A, but A is a private member of class me. Yes, but it is able to access, right? So this is the thing, right? पहले हमने friend function global declare किया था, ये हम लोग inside class कर रहे. Yes, we can restrict to a function who can use my private members here, like yes, scope of operator use करके जो भी function can access my name. मुझे restriction देना है कि मेरे friend class का कोई specific function ही मेरे private members को access कर सके. तो in that case I will be doing like that. I will just tell you only this function can access my private members. Yes, see friend function in friend class can access my data. So difference between inheritance and composition is composition allows only reusability. यहाँ पे just we are reusing the thing. Yes, we are just using the private members. Yeah. Inheritance में we can extend also. If you want to copy, I'll wait, otherwise I will jump to next topic. Done? Yeah. Okay, shall we go to the next topic? Okay. Next topic is operator overloading. So basically, let's first understand what is exactly operator overloading and why we are using it. यहाँ पे देखो, if I have two variables of type int, let's say x 5 है, y कुछ, okay. If I have two variables of type int, if I want to add two numbers, I write, yes, x plus y. Yes, But okay, suppose I have two objects. See, objects are nothing but variables only, na? Yes, object is a user defined data type. Yes, so objects are variable of user defined data type. जैसे x and y are variable of data type int, वैसे objects are nothing but variables of data type, that is class, whatever we have. Okay, so suppose class is car, कुछ attributes है. Okay, so if I create object of this class, yes, if I create object of this class, so these are nothing but variables of type class. So class is user defined data type. एक data type है जैसे int है. So since in case of integer, I can do this. But if I write this, if I want to add, yes, two variables of type class, okay, so I can't do this without the concept of operator overloading. Here we introduce the concept of operator overloading. Yes, समझा सबको what exactly why we are using operator overloading. And overloading क्यों बोला है, क्यों नाम ऐसा overloading रखा है? तो overloading means what? We are just passing the extra things inside the function. Yes, so already see plus is an operator, but इसका कुछ function है. Yes, when we use this operator, कुछ function call हो रहा है, वो दो values को add कर रहा है. Yes, similarly इसके लिए हम लोग function लिखेंगे and that will overload the existing function of plus operator. इतना समझा? हाँ ना?
Yes.
थोड़ा थोड़ा जो भी समझा रहेगा. Just if इसमें कुछ doubt है तो you can ask me, then we'll see forward. So why we are using the concept of operator overloading? Yes. Okay. Now, one important thing to note is that we can overload plus, minus, plus, multiplication. Yes, बहुत सारे operators है which we can overload, but there are a bunch of few operators which we can't overload, and one of them is scope of operator. Yes, one is scope operator. We can't overload scope operator. Second is dot operator, dot, yes, dot and dot star. Anyone? What is this operator?
Pointer to member operator.
Very good. Pointer to member operator. Yes. So we can't overload dot and pointer to member operator. Member. Okay. Operator. Next is this size of operator is also there. Size of, we can't overload size of operator.
Sir, conditional operator भी है ना?
Yes, ternary operator, that is right.
Yes.
Yes, ये use कर रहे थे हम लोग ternary operator में. That
Yes,
is
sir.
ternary operator. Conditional भी बोल दो चलेगा. Ternary operator. Yes. So we can't overload this 4 operators. You should remember this 4 operators which we can't overload. Okay. So before going to the code, let me tell you the difference between operator function and normal functions. Okay. So operator functions are functions. Okay, they are same as normal function only. The only difference are names of an operator function. Okay, operator function ka name is always operator keyword followed by symbol of operator. And operator functions are called when corresponding operator used. जब मैं जैसे मैंने बोला कि if I am doing yes object 1, okay, जब मैं x plus y करता हूं तभी प्लस का फंक्शन कॉल होता है. yes, it's a operator, yeah. तो उसके लिए कुछ फंक्शन लिखा होगा. yes, to add two numbers. Similarly, if when I do this, तो इसके लिए operator function कॉल होता है. That what we are studying right now. And operator function how differs from normal function is the operator का name. Yes, operator का name is syntax of operator function is yes return type, जो भी return type होगा plus में it will be integer if you are adding two numbers or whatever, we'll see later. Okay, so first is return type, then क्या होगा operator keyword. Yes, then symbol for which we are creating this operator function. If it is plus, we'll write plus, and arguments, जितना जो भी argument ले रहा है, that is okay. So this is the syntax of operator function. Let's jump to one example. So सबको पता होगा operators दो टाइप का होता है, urinary, yes, binary. So let's first see the concept of unary operator overloading. See, count is my class. Yes, जैसे मैंने बोला if x is integer, तो मैं without thinking anything I write x plus plus, yes, plus plus x, x minus minus, decrement operator, yes, post decrement, pre decrement, yes, negation, all are unary yes, unary operators we can use directly. But if count one, see, count one is a variable of type count. So if I use directly without doing this stuff, without constructor overloading a concept, it will give me an error. So that's why we are overloading, yes, increment operator, yes, pre-increment operator it is. So क्या हो रहा है, जैसे मैंने बोला कि when we use this operator, yes, operator function will be called, yes, ये तो what is this, yes, it's a default constructor to initialize some value. Yes, value is my private data member. Okay, it's a default constructor. See, syntax क्या बोला था मैंने operator function का, okay, रफ कर दिया. Return type followed by operator keyword, then जो भी operator के लिए we are writing operator function उसका symbol, yes, and inside body whatever see value. I am actually want to increment value because एक ही member है अभी के लिए मेरे count के अंदर. Yes, I will increment value here. So this is operator function, and this is the concept of operator overloading for unary operators. Yes. Yes, count become 6. Yes, I'm calling this member function. Any doubt, anyone? Unary operator. They may ask you the question, that is, what is the difference between operator function and normal function? तो आपको explain करना है. there is a syntactical difference. In operator function, we use operator keyword after return type. And the name of operator function is always a symbol for which we are writing that operator function. Keep this example as standard example and explain the stuff. अच्छा, आगे बढ़े.
Yes.
Okay. बाकी किसी को डाउट है? Okay, next is yes, binary operator overloading. जैसे unary operator में we're overloading the unary operators, binary operator में we'll be overloading binary operators like plus, minus, whatever. Okay. Here we will see an example of plus. See complex 1, complex 2 and result तो ठीक है. We are just storing the result inside. Okay. If I want to do this, yes, two complex numbers. Yes, complex is my class having two data members. Yes, real and imaginary part. Yes, this is a default constructor initializing this private members to 0. Okay, so whenever I create object, default function will be, default constructor will get executed and it will just set initial value as 0, 0 to real part and imaginary part of complex number. Yes, next is input function. Okay, input यहाँ पे as a member function ले रहा हूँ मैं. Yes, enter real part, imaginary part, whatever. Yes, it's taking input complex 1 dot input. अच्छा, यहाँ तक किसी को डाउट नहीं है ना? Now understand how it is working. कि कैसे होता है? कि मैंने बोला था कि operator function will be called when we use that operator. Yes, operator function is called when we use that operator. तो यहाँ पे call होगा. When we use this plus, it will be called. Okay. So कैसे हो रहा है? यहाँ पे in operator function का definition देखेंगे तो it's taking some argument. Yes, it's taking argument. क्या argument ले रहा है? A object. Yes, object ले रहा है. कौन सा ऑब्जेक्ट पास होगा? तो when I use plus between complex 1 and complex 2, both are objects of class complex. Yes, it's taking the object of class complex. तो किसका ऑब्जेक्ट पास होगा? complex 1 का कि complex 2 का? तो see this. Here complex 1 calls the operator function. कौन कॉल कर रहा है? complex 1 जो फर्स्ट आर्ग्यूमेंट है, ऑपरेंड है, दैट इज नथिंग बट ऑब्जेक्ट. जो फर्स्ट ऑपरेंड होता है वो कॉल करता है. दैट इज कॉम्प्लेक्स 1 इज कॉलिंग दिस ऑपरेटर फंक्शन. एंड किसका ऑब्जेक्ट कौन सा क्या पास हो रहा है? कॉम्प्लेक्स 2. इन दैट फंक्शन वी आर पासिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स 2. कॉम्प्लेक्स 2 इज पास्ड एज एन आर्ग्यूमेंट टू द फंक्शन. समझा सबको कैसे कॉल हो रहा है एक्चुअली? Yes, I am calling. I am calling using complex 1 because see, आप member function को कैसे call करते हो? Using a object name. Complex 1 is a object name of class of this class. Yeah, complex. And this is भले operator function है, but it's a member of this class, right? So I have to call that function using a object name. So complex 1 is my object name. Yeah, I am calling using complex 1. Yes, operator function जो भी है. Yes, ऐसे समझ लो. So I am calling this operator function using complex 1 and I am passing complex 2. That's it. This is how it is being called. Okay. तो ये समझा कैसे कॉल हो रहा है एक्चुअली? यस, when we write this plus, how it is being called? So जब call होता है, we are passing complex 2, तो complex 2 is there inside object now. And see, जो object से हम लोग call करते हैं, since we are calling this function using complex 1 as object, I am calling this function using object name complex 1. So I will be accessing the arguments of or members or data members of complex 1 object directly, right? हम लोग कभी भी जब सपोज जो भी ऑब्जेक्ट होता है उससे कोई फंक्शन कॉल करते हैं, अ मेंबर फंक्शन, तो in that function we access the data members of this object directly. We don't use object name to access data members of this object. So here, if I want to access the data members of complex 1, since it is calling, we are calling the this member function using this complex 1 object, so I can directly use the data members of complex 1, that is object जिसे हम लोग call कर रहे हैं, yeah, without object name. And since we are passing complex 2 here as an argument, object of complex 2 is an object of complex, okay, so I am accessing the data members of complex 2 using the object name. And it is okay, temp is again a complex variable, so we are just using it temporarily to return the things, and we are storing in the result. इसमें किसी को डाउट है? This is binary operator overloading. We want to copy the code, want to take screenshot, ask me to scroll down, scroll up, और कुछ डाउट है तो पूछो, नहीं है तो नो. Okay, scroll down. बस इतना की और okay. सिर्फ तेजस्वी बोर्ड एग्जाम देने वाला है, बाकी सबको आता है बाइनरी ऑपरेटर ओवरलोडिंग. डन. ओके तेजस, व्हाट अबाउट अदर्स? समझ रहे हैं, नहीं समझ रहे? Okay, understanding. Okay, let's switch to next topic then, that is virtual function. अच्छा, इसको रन नहीं किया ना हमने. Let's try to run code. Let's run the code. Let's say yes, first complex number का real part is, second complex number का real part, let's say 8. Yes, addition of two complex number. So we are overloading plus operator function for different objects, different type of variables, user defined type of variables. Next is virtual functions. So virtual function is a member function. Let me explain here only. virtual function is a member function, so which is declared in within a base class and redefined. अपने सब में override पता होगा सबको. What is override? Yes, if I override something like overwritten करते हैं ना, अभी जब स्टैक में डेटा स्टोर होता है तो वो स्टैक खाली नहीं होता, हम लोग जो भी डेटा स्टोर करते हैं वी गेट गार्बेज वैल्यूज, राइट. बाय डिफॉल्ट लोकल वेरिएबल्स में गार्बेज वैल्यू होता है. yes, before we store before we yes, assign or initialize a variable, if we print, it gives us a garbage value. Similarly, yes, function, suppose a class में I have some function, okay, and उसमें कुछ लिखा है, like it's performing some task. Yes, but if I create a class, a derived class, yes, if I derive a class, yes, inheriting from that class, that is, so if I can override that function, let's see the example directly. There is nothing to write here. यहाँ पे देखो, base class, yes, I am deriving the, yes, अच्छा नाम ही derived लिखा है, okay, this class, that is derived class from base class, yes, in public mode. तो यहाँ पे देखो, okay, let me explain you what if, अच्छा सबको ये तो पता है ना, how we access member functions using pointer variable. उसमें किसी को डाउट है? How we access member function using pointer variable? Using this operator, yeah. Dot and star तो होता ही है, but इसे हम लोग ऐसे भी लिखते हैं. Yes, if suppose this is a class, class A का एक कोई object है, and there is a variable called int x. So if I want, and yeah, this is the object, and suppose main function के अंदर एक मैंने pointer बना दिया, okay, of type class. अच्छा size क्या होगा ये pointer का? Can anyone tell me what will be the size of this pointer variable? Four bytes. It depends. Yes, 4 byte is right. But why 4 byte? क्यों 4 byte है? It depends on system.
इंटीजर को पॉइंट कर रहे हैं ना.
See, size of pointer variable na depends on your system. Okay, if your system is 32-bit, it is 4 byte. If your system is 64-bit, size of pointer variable is 8 byte. See, because what you are doing is you are storing the address inside pointer variable. कुछ भी होने दो, किसी को भी point करने दो, but you are storing address inside pointer variable. And address, if your system is 32-bit system, तो address कितने bit का होगा? 32-bit. हाँ ना, समझा?
Yes.
Yes, तुम्हारा address 32-bit का होगा. तो size of pointer variable is always same. कोई भी टाइप का होने दो, pointer variable int टाइप का होने दो, char टाइप का होने दो. Yes, dereferencing में एक प्रॉब्लम आएगा कि if your pointer variable is of type int, you can dereference only integer. मतलब yeah, if your pointer variable is of type char, you can dereference character only. मतलब if it is character pointer, see, वहां पे भी एक लॉजिक है. सी मेरा पॉइंटर वेरिएबल इन टाइप का है, तो इट कैन डी रेफरेंस ओनली 2 बाइट ऑफ डेटा. इफ मेरा पॉइंटर वेरिएबल कैर टाइप का है, तो इट कैन ओनली डी रेफरेंस 1 बाइट का डेटा. इफ आई मेक दिस इट इज कॉल्ड ये पता होगा आपको टाइप कास्ट. यस, टाइप कास्टिंग करते हैं. इफ आई मेक सपोज आई हैव अ कैरेक्टर वेरिएबल x, इसमें कुछ कैरेक्टर स्टोर्ड है. इफ आई मेक दिस pointer, integer pointer to point to character variable, I need explicit typecasting. Okay, explicit भी नहीं लगता है, it automatically typecasts. Okay, so it can see can okay x नहीं लेते, y लेते हैं. Y is a int type variable. Okay, let me take the new page only. Yeah, if my x is an integer variable 5 and I have a pointer of type char, p is a pointer of type char. जैसे मैंने बोला size of every pointer variable is 4, depend on system, that is if 32-bit system है तो 4 byte. Okay, if 64 है तो 8 byte. If I make this pointer to point to some integer, if I make this pointer to point to some integer, it can dereference. If I print star p, it will not print 5. It will print, see, बोला था integer variable x is an integer variable, it will be stored in 2 bytes. 100, 101, 5 is stored in binary. So it will this pointer variable of type char can access only 1 byte of data. जो भी फर्स्ट बाइट होता वो 100 होगा, 100 बेस एड्रेस होगा सपोज, तो फर्स्ट बाइट ये वाला होगा, तो इट कैन एक्सेस ओनली 1 बाइट बिकॉज उसका टाइप क्या है, कैरेक्टर. तो पॉइंटर कैन एक्सेस, पॉइंटर कैन डी रेफरेंस number of bytes depend on type of pointer. If it is character, it can dereference only 1 byte of data. If it is integer pointer and pointing to the float variable का size 4 byte है, but मेरा pointer क्या है, integer pointer, उसका type integer है, it can dereference only 2 byte of data. Do you have structure, pointer to structure in your syllabus?
No, sir.
Oh yes. Yeah.
No.
No. Okay. So what we are discussing, virtual function. So yes, भटक गए concept से. यहाँ देखो. Yes, base class is my parent class. Yes, I am deriving this child class from this, inheriting from base class. Yes. यहाँ पे see, I have show function here in base class. I have show function, and in public class I have this show function. If I access this show, see now this pointer क्या है, किसका पॉइंटर है, कौन से टाइप है, उसका टाइप क्या है, बेस. यस, बेस का पॉइंटर बनाया, एंड d is a object of class. Yes, and base pointer is a pointing to base class, is a pointer of type base class, and d is a object of type derived class. I can make this pointer, this bptr, to point to the object of derived class. Pointer of type base class can point to object of type derived class. Yes, and overriding concept मैंने बोला था. Suppose I print, then if I access show function, see show function यहाँ पे भी है, यहाँ पे भी है. Yes, if I print this, if I call this show function, what will be called? This or this? कौन सा function execute होगा? Yes, see, bptr is a pointer of type base and D is a object of type derived. Yes, D is a object of derived class and bptr is a pointer of type base class. Yes, base class ka pointer is pointing to object of derived class and I using this base class का pointer I am calling show function. Yes, यहाँ पे मैंने override किया है, but I didn't use override or keyword और यहाँ पे मैंने virtual नहीं रखा है. We'll come to why we are going for virtual functions. I'll tell you. Yes, when you refer to derived, okay, since we are referring derived class, okay, let me run the code and explain instead. Yes, क्या print हुआ? Base class. Yes, ये थोड़ा बहुत पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म जैसा दिख रहा है. पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म में भी कर रहे थे कल. यस, क्लास एक एनिमल था. यस, उसके चाइल्ड्स बनाए थे हमने.
Yes.
हमने देखा था वॉइस फंक्शन चेंज करके. वी आर प्रिंटिंग डिफरेंट स्टफ इन वॉइस फंक्शन. सेम चीज हो रहा है. इट इज कॉलिंग, सी, इट इज कॉलिंग शो फंक्शन ऑफ किसका शो फंक्शन कॉल है? बेस क्लास का शो फंक्शन कॉल कर रहा है. ओके, नाउ सी दिस. if I define this function as a virtual function, this print is second function. Okay, okay, let me मुझे और एक concept explain करना है. For that I will need this function. तो for time being let it be. मैं भी इसको virtual बना देता हूँ. Okay, अभी मैंने शो फंक्शन को वर्चुअल फंक्शन बना दिया. क्या होना चाहिए? लेट्स सी. क्या प्रिंट हुआ? शो derived class. That pointer is calling the show function of derived class. This is nothing but the achievement of using virtual keyword. Why it is printing? Because we have define this show function as virtual. So virtual function is a member function which is declared within a base class. हमने base class के अंदर ही declare किया है. Yes, declared within a base class and is redefined. Yes, we are overwriting this show function. Polymorphism में भी वही कर रहे थे. Yes, हमारा एक voice function था animal class के अंदर. Voice member function था animal class के अंदर. What we were doing is we were overriding in different animals. Yes, different animals का different voice था. We were overriding the voice function. Yes, so redefine कर देते और by using inside derived classes, जितने भी derived classes बना रहे थे हम लोग animals के या वहां पे हम लोग redefine कर देते. When you refer to a derived class object using a pointer or a reference to the base class, you can call virtual function for that object. कैसे? See, this is a pointer of base class and it is pointing to object of derived class. So if I do so, if I make this pointer to point to object of derived class, yes, I can achieve what I am doing here. That is, I will be calling show function. Yes, pointer of base class can access, yes, function of derived class. अभी run time binding and compile time binding क्या होता है? You will understand now. See, यहाँ पे मेरा print जो है वो वर्चुअल फंक्शन है. यस, तो जब मैं प्रिंट कॉल करता हूं तो इट it should call this function. And जब मैं show कॉल करता हूँ, see show okay, show हटा देते हैं, virtual नहीं है show anymore, show is not anymore virtual. Okay, show is not virtual, non-virtual function. So when I use base pointer, the pointer of base class and call show function, it should call show function of the base class only, because show function is not virtual. Here print function is a virtual. So when I use, okay, yes, this base pointer, base class ka pointer to call print function, it will call the most updated print function. Yes, this one. Let's run the code. Yes, print function derived class के लिए call हुआ, show function base class के लिए call हुआ. Yes, so late binding and compiled run, there are two concepts. Yes, one is compile time binding, and that is early binding. Compile time binding is also called as early binding, and late binding, that is runtime binding. Okay, so late binding is done in accordance with content of pointer. Yes, that is location pointed by pointer. That is runtime binding. This is runtime binding. क्या कर रहा है यहाँ पे, जो पॉइंटर जिसको भी पॉइंट कर रहा है, सी pptr, yes, प्रिंट किसके लिए कॉल है, डिराइव्ड क्लास के लिए, तो इट इज पॉइंटिंग टू दिस वन and it is pointing to the show function of base class. That's why it's printing base class. Okay, so late binding is done in accordance with content of pointer, and early binding is done in according to type of pointer. Yes, तो early binding में non virtual function, that is show call कर रहा है early binding में, and late binding में it is print, it is calling print function of derived class. समझा सबको virtual function का concept? See, this example is enough to explain all the features of virtual function. जो भी question आता है, just give one example, explain the concept. और ये रन टाइम पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म है, तो we can only achieve through pointer variables. Okay, और जो वर्चुअल रहेगा उसको कौन ले करेगा, सी what is the difference? Let me try to make this simpler for you to understand. यहाँ पे देखो, यहाँ पे वर्चुअल फंक्शन है, सी मैंने प्रिंट को वर्चुअल डिक्लेयर किया है, तो प्रिंट इज माय वर्चुअल फंक्शन. मैंने शो के लिए वर्चुअल नहीं लिखा है, आई डिडंट राइट कीवर्ड फॉर, आई एम नॉट डिफाइनिंग शो एज अ वर्चुअल फंक्शन. ओके, तो व्हेन आई यूज बेस क्लास का पॉइंटर टू कॉल शो फंक्शन, इट विल कॉल दिस ओनली. When I use base class ka pointer to access this member function, that is show, which is also overwritten by some derived class. Yes, but if I use base class ka pointer and call show function, it will just call this function, that is member function of base class. But if I use base class ka pointer to call virtual function, that is print is a virtual function, so it will call the most most recently overwritten function. Yes, that is this one, because this function I have declared as a virtual function. Okay, late binding and that is early binding, that is late binding is also called runtime binding. So runtime binding we achieve through virtual function. Yes, runtime binding में क्या हो रहा है, जब run होता है, रन होने के बाद ही पता चलेगा कि it is overwritten and it is virtual. इसलिए runtime binding and that is late binding and early binding is this only. वो पहले ही दिख लेगा it is not virtual, तो it will bind this function. Yes, जब मैं show कॉल करूंगा, that is compile time binding भी बोलते हैं उसको. I hope the concept of virtual function is clear to all. किसी को डाउट है? Any doubt, anyone?
No, sir.
Okay, let's move. Okay, because we're copy करना है तो I'll wait. Otherwise, we'll switch to now next topic, that is files. Files. Yeah, you have text file as well as binary files. So files में कुछ है नहीं ज़्यादा to code. You just have to remember the functions, you know. Yes, offstream किसके लिए use करते हैं? तो offstream is used to create and write two files. Offstream create करने के लिए and open करने के लिए use करते हैं. Create and open or write to the file. This is a file name I'm passing inside double quotes. Yes. So this is, I'm just opening, I'm creating and opening a file, text file. Yes. जो भी extension देते हो, accordingly it will work. Second, how to write a write if stream. If stream is used to read from files. Okay, and how to write to the file using this insertion operator. Yes, my file का pointer है. This is my pointer to my file. So I will use insertion operator to write into the file. Yes, and there are different functions we have on my file. You will click control space. You will see. You could able to see there are different functions I have. Yes. ये सब तो नहीं है, ऊपर वाला सब. Okay. So when I run this, it will see file, text file जो भी मैंने बोला, तो it will create a file and open it. Next, if I want to write into that file, I use insertion operator. Insertion operator use करके मैंने text write किया. See, text file में I can see this text what I have written. Yes, and I want to close the file. I am using close function. In exam they see, अभी तो आपका practical exam तो नहीं है, तो in exam they just ask what are the function of this मतलब offstream क्या use है. तो offstream is used to create and write to the files. If stream किसके लिए use करते हैं, तो read from files. Yes, f stream combination of both. Yes, to read and write. It is offstream. The f stream is combination of offstream and if stream. Here I am using offstream. So this is basically the things on text file you should remember. Next is binary file. So in binary file, this offstream again is used to create fstream file bar fs stream file buff. There are different functions. बहुत सारे function है, bunch of functions. Okay, तो you just read your textbook. Textbook में जो दिया है उतना ही पढ़ो. Don't because file concept is too huge. It's not time to understand it. Okay. बहुत बड़ा है फाइल का कंसेप्ट आपके
सर
टेक्स्ट
वो
बुक में.
एफएस स्ट्रीम बेस में दिया है कि प्रोवाइड्स ऑपरेशन कॉमन टू फाइल सिस्टम, ऐसा बोला है. प्रोवाइड्स ऑपरेशन कॉमन टू द फाइल स्ट्रीम.
टेक्स्ट बुक में दिया है.
यस.
Yes, just read that definition. आपको एग्जाम में क्वेश्चंस क्या आते हैं फाइल्स पे, कुछ रीड किया आप लोग ने प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर्स?
एक्सप्लेन ऑफ स्ट्रीम इफ स्ट्रीम ऐसा है.
Yes, वही मींस देयर इज नो नीड टू कोड, लाइक कोड करने का जरूरत नहीं है अभी के लिए. अभी बोर्ड एग्जाम एकदम पास में, पहले करने का जरूरत था. तो अभी के लिए जस्ट रीड द डेफिनेशन ऑफ कौन सा फंक्शन किसके लिए यूज होता है, दैट्स इट. उतना याद कर लो. अभी के लिए प्रैक्टिकल करने जाओगे ना तो यू विल वेस्ट योर टाइम. इंस्टेड यू जस्ट स्टडी अदर सब्जेक्ट्स, यू नो, और आपका ओप्स का कंसेप्ट थोड़ा स्ट्रॉन्ग कर लो. यस, दिस इज बाइनरी फाइल में भी जो मेन फंक्शंस है वो दिखा रहा हूँ. don't just remember this code like this. Just understand off stream किसके लिए यूज होता है. तो it is used to create and open a file. Okay, जो भी टेक्स्ट आप पास करते हो सिर्फ सिंटेक्स थोड़ा बहुत याद कर लो, जो भी मेन फंक्शन है. यस, ऑफ स्ट्रीम फंक्शन का सिंटेक्स थोड़ा याद कर लो. इन ओके, बाइनरी फाइल्स के लिए कैसा सिंटेक्स है. यस, अपना टेक्स्ट फाइल के लिए कैसा है. इन टेक्स्ट फाइल ओनली आई एम पासिंग फाइल नेम इन double quotes. Yes, so it will create a binary file. Yes, ये syntax है, it's rule. Okay, don't go in much deep क्यों लिखा है, कैसे लिखा है. Just remember the syntax. Yes, double quotes के अंदर फाइल नेम जो भी क्रिएट और ओपन करना है उसका नेम, that's it. Next, this if कुछ एरर आता है while opening a file, this is a file pointer. Okay, तो if file pointer में 0 आता है, okay, और null आता है, तो condition will be true, that is yes, negation of 0, तो it will come inside and it will say there is an error in file. There is error occurs while opening a file. Now I am writing some data, that is structure. Structure is not kind of class, मतलब class जैसा ही है, user defined data type. Okay, it is used to define the data types. यहाँ पे student जैसे class create करते हैं, student class होता है, वैसे it's a structure. Same way में access करते हैं members को using pointer as well as using dot operator. Yes, तो it's an array. See, this is an array of type student जिसमें 3 स्टूडेंट का डेटा मैं स्टोर करूंगा. array of integers ऐसे होता है. Similar way में array of structure. Yes, I am storing student details of 3 students, that is roll number and name, जैसे क्लास में होता है. Then I am writing into this binary file using this for loop. कैसे राइट कर रहे हैं, तो देयर इज अ सिंटैक्स. ओके, तो ये अगेन सी दिस फंक्शन इज टू राइट. अभी सिंटैक्स क्या है. यस, जो भी साइज होता है, ओके, और जो भी स्टोर करना है. हियर आई एम स्टोरिंग वेरिएबल ऑफ टाइप स्टूडेंट. यस, स्ट्रक्चर इज अ वेरिएबल, ये स्टूडेंट. यस, क्लास समझ लो, चलो क्लास समझ लो एज ए क्लास, स्ट्रक्चर को एज ए क्लास समझ लो. Okay, so these are my objects. Sorry, this is my class. Okay, so this is 1 object, this is 2 object. Okay, वैसे समझ लो if structure नहीं समझता है तो size of data you are passing into the file or you are writing onto the file, and जो भी pass कर रहे हो, that is. Okay, so this is the syntax of write function. Okay, you call it using the file pointer. You are closing a file after writing. तो मैंने ये 3 स्टूडेंट का डेटा बाइनरी फाइल के अंदर डाल दिया. Okay, now I'm checking. Your good function is used to check if while writing कुछ error आता है तो I can check it using a good function. मैं जैसे बोला there are bunch of functions, but आपके टेक्स्ट बुक में जितना है उतना ही फंक्शन याद रखो. There are file handling is a huge concept in C++. Okay, but आपके टेक्स्ट बुक में कुछ selected function है, standard function है, write है, read है. Okay, तो go with that only. और वही पूछते हैं फॉर लास्ट 5 years के क्वेश्चन पेपर में देखोगे ना, तो जो भी स्टैंडर्ड फंक्शन है उसका डेफिनेशन पूछा होगा, सिंटैक्स पूछा होगा. ओके, और मतलब रेयरली कोई प्रोग्राम पूछेंगे. ओके, और इफ आपको नॉर्मल जो स्टैंडर्ड फंक्शंस है उसका सिंटैक्स पता होगा तो यू कैन इजीली राइट दैट कोड. एकदम बेसिक सा क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे. ओके, सो हियर good function is to check whether error is there while writing into the file. Yes, if stream is you used to read. Okay, reading मतलब read करने के लिए use कर रहे हैं, used to read the file. Yes, जो भी file read करना है उसका name in double quotes same as off stream. Yes, same syntax as off stream. Yes, this is read file pointer. That was write file pointer. Yes, so this is opening a file for reading. If उसमें null आता है जैसे हमने write में किया था, yes, write file pointer में if it is null तो file cannot open. For read यहाँ write वहाँ पे write and यहाँ पे read, file cannot open. Yes, this is I am reading the data from file. जैसे writing में हम लोग for loop use कर रहे थे, we were writing into the file. Yes, 3 student का data, इसलिए मैंने loop को 3 बार घुमाया था. Right now I am reading from file, that is 3 student का data जो भी store किया है, that I am reading from file. Yes, तो again वहाँ पे write function था, यहाँ पे read function है. Yes, जो भी size of मतलब C binary files है, अभी files क्यों use कर रहा है binary files? C. So smallest unit inside my memory is a byte. Okay, if I am storing in terms of byte, like 1 byte, 2 byte, तो integer, yes, integer store होता है. तो फाइल का यूज करते हैं जब मल्टीपल थिंग्स को एक ही साथ में स्टोर करना है, देयर वी यूज फाइल्स, पता होगा. ओके, सो यहाँ पे वी आर जस्ट गिविंग द साइज ऑफ वेरिएबल आई विल बी रीडिंग फ्रॉम फाइल. यस, आई विल बी रीडिंग द 1 स्टूडेंट का डेटा फ्रॉम फाइल. तो उसका साइज ऑफ हम लोग यूज करते हैं साइज ऑफ ऑपरेटर, साइज ऑफ इंट, तो 2 बाइट देता है. तो साइज ऑफ स्टूडेंट क्या होगा यहाँ पे साइज ऑफ स्टूडेंट is same as class. क्या होगा size of student? Can anyone tell me? If I create a size of student variable, student type का एक variable create करता, what would be the size of that variable? That is size of its member functions or member data members. Okay, so here it is roll number का size and name का size जो भी होगा, that I am passing in this size of function. Okay, so I am passing just size of student variable. कितना bytes मुझे access करना है, कितना bytes मुझे read करना है, that I am telling, that I am passing inside this read and write functions. यहाँ पे भी पास किया था. And that's it. जो भी read करना है, जो भी index number 0th index पे जो भी student का detail है, yes, we are passing the address to that variable. I'm just closing the read file pointer, and again I'm checking using good function if error occurred during reading from file. Yes, and that's it. Okay, let's try to run this. Already run किया हुआ है. Okay, it will create. ये ऐसे ही दिखेगा. So that's it. You just remember what function is used for what, and okay. रीड फंक्शन कैसे यूज करते हैं, उसका सिंटैक्स क्या है, राइट फंक्शन कैसे यूज करता है, गुड फंक्शन किसके लिए यूज करता है, यस ओपन करने के लिए क्या यूज करते हैं, फाइल क्लोज करने के लिए क्या यूज करते हैं. देयर आर मल्टीपल बंच ऑफ फंक्शंस यू हैव. ओके, बट टेक्स्ट बुक में जितना उतना रीड कर लो. डेफिनेशंस, ओनली डेफिनेशन एंड सिंटैक्स. नो वन इज गोइंग टू आस्क इन एग्जाम की पूरा रीड करो, राइट करो. एंड पूछेगा तो भी एक बेसिक सा कोड पूछेगा, to open a file, write some text and close the file. और okay, to read whatever जो भी लिखा है वो read कर लो. Okay, so we are done with file handling. If you have a doubt in any concept, you can ask me right now. Otherwise, we'll just end the lecture. Achha. It's a doubt session now for half an hour. If you have a doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave. Yes, anyone? कुछ doubt है? If you have doubt, you can unmute and ask. Yes, ma'am, sir, who is the host. You just